We should go and look at your car, but before we go there, tell me what car do you have?
So the car we're going to look at today is a 1996 Porsche 911 Carrera 2, 993 model, car that I think is very much the best of all worlds. It's the last of the air-cooled cars.
Old enough to be old, new enough to be new.
Exactly, yeah. 6-speed, developed suspension, good AC, 4 working seatbelts. It's kind of back to that Swiss Army knife analogy. It does everything well, but we've, together with a team of people, have refined every single aspect of it, but it still looks stock from the outside. And again, that's having both the objective of being able to tell the original story of this car in period, but also to refine it and modify it and improve it with the technologies that are available today.
Let's go to your little cell and have a show and tell. That was poetic.
Sounds good.
Great, thank you.
Thanks. I like this picture with the old and the new.
Yeah. It's always a good sign when a guy wants to take pictures of his own car.
Yeah. What do they say? Build or buy a car that you look back at when you're walking away?
Exactly. You go for coffee and you have to turn around and have a look at it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last of the air-cooled 993, this car, the idea here was how do you preserve and characterize 1996? The example was built in 96, Polar Silver, Carrera 2. But to refine things like the brakes, like the exhaust, seats, short shift, adjustable dampers.
It's lowered a little bit.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the Euro ride height, rest of the world ride height. So not quite US, which was really high, but also not slammed like a lot of the new generation 993s.
In the basement.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, the use case here is go far. Go slow, go fast, go far are my two themes. This is my go far car. 4 working seatbelts, a great air conditioning, and comfort, but still it will hang with anything in the canyons. I think you can have multi-use cars that create superior handling and performance, but are still comfortable to use in everyday use.
Tell you what, I'm kind of giggling at myself because my first instinctive reaction was, oh no, it's a US model. Because the first thing we do when we acquire a 993 from America is we swap the lights and we remove those, excuse me, those terrible rubber bumpers, and especially at the front, and then it becomes like a real 993, but of course it's a US model here.
Yep, US model year. This car was sold by Vasek Polak in Southern California. Obviously Vasek has a huge history with motorsport, so that was important to me. Always maintained by Andile. Dieter and Alvin are both personal friends from the motorsport days, but they also helped me with my air-cooled cars. So yeah, I love working with those guys. And yeah, again, you buy a car for its model and for its history, but I really love the stories of my cars. Who owned them, where they were serviced, and ultimately whose hands have been on them.
No, but this is, I mean, classic is such a cliche, but this is really a new classic.
Yes.
And it's gonna outlast all of us.
Yeah, the biggest thing that's surprising to me about 993 is if you didn't know that it was 35 years old, you would never think the driving experience is that long ago. It's so ahead of its time, it's so modern, it's so comfortable, and it also has the functionality of a modern car. So yes, it's simple in its e-tech, if you will, but it still does everything that you need on a daily basis. And of course, I love driving manual cars, and I love the sound of my exhaust system from Dansk and the flat 6 behind. I want to create memories with my young kids. They're 7 and 10, and when they sit in the back of the silver car, they hear everything and they feel the squat, and I think that forever they'll remember sitting in these small back seats that were as they believe, made for them.
Looking over the edge there.
Exactly. Yeah. So
no, I had my own kids growing up in that car, so I know exactly what you mean. It's a wonderful car.
Yeah, they're compact. You can still reach across and touch the passenger side door. And you know, when I think about my daily driver and I look at this car, you see the resemblance. You see how much has been retained in the 911 design, and pretty grateful to have both of these cars to use at my will. And I didn't plan it this way, but you can see
no, this is a beautiful setup.
It's kind of tone on tone, the relationship between 993 and 992, separated by what, almost 40 years.
I wanted one without a sunroof, and it's almost impossible. So in the end, I bought the whole sheet piece, and it comes in a crate. It comes in a wooden box the size of an orchestral piano, and they cut it at the bottom of the pillars all the way. It's a huge undertaking, and you have to tie up the car in a Gillette bench to take off the roof. And I ended up having one without a sunroof, but it costs blood, sweat, and tears to get rid of it. And today I probably wouldn't do it because it ruins the originality. But I had many good years with my 993. Should we take it around the block?
Yeah, let's go. Let's drive it. Yeah, I'm not a super tall guy, so sunroofs don't bother me from a head clearance standpoint, as long as they function. You know, again, these
cars, me it was purely aesthetics.
Yeah.
The roof line is iconic. Don't put a hole in it.
Yeah, no, these cars, I don't find them. I always say they find me. So yeah, they come pre-spec'd, but amazing to drive, and I always say it's a time machine, right? It's the closest we're gonna get to being in 1996 is putting yourself in this car and looking out that picture frame of a windshield. So yeah, let's take it for a ride. So this is my 1996 Carrera 2 with the Dansk Sport exhaust, and wanted to give you a little sneak peek in what it sounds like.
With these seats, I don't know these seats.
So they're a Sportster CS. The idea, or what I liked about these seats, is they were narrower up top, so you don't get that racing width of shoulders and head.
The original sports seats are very wide.
And then I wanted definitely more support and an adjustable angle, so went with these. I was working with Recaro when I built this car.
I haven't been in one since I had one. This is just like coming home. The whole thing is right. Even the smell is right.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, there's some aspect of like comfort and use case, but still incredibly simple.
Yeah.
Dash line is great. Still a small cockpit compared to 911s of the water-cooled generation. And I mean, a simpler time, right? Fewer crash aid or safety systems required in this time, and I think a lot of people give the newer 911s a hard time for being much larger, but of course most of that reason has to do with safety, right? And impact, crumple zones, and side airbags and things of that nature. So yeah, this car still sounds like a 911. It still has that small cabin and simplicity, and still really does well in the canyons, and is a fun car to go to get groceries, but also to go up into the twisties and give some of the supercars a hard time.
Let's talk about gearboxes. This is not the right car to discuss gearboxes in, because the Tiptronic was just a piece of scheisse. But where are you on manual versus PDK?
Daily driver in LA with traffic, I'm a PDK guy, and actually, as a purist, I sort of bite my lip as I say PDK, but the reality is that it does everything well. I can drive it as an automatic, but I can also drive it as a manual. And yeah, do I miss the clutch? Do I miss the H-pattern gates? Sure, but if it's a weekend car or a track car, I think H-pattern is still my preferred method, and I like the art of driving with the clutch. And you know, in racing, I didn't realize, but the clutch is a tool for many things other than just shifting gears. It controls wheel hop in deceleration. You can do a lot of things with clutch that people maybe don't realize.
Are you a heel and toe guy? Are you too young to heel and toe?
No, definitely.
Do you get the romantics of it?
Yeah, I'm definitely a heel toe guy. I think that, again, with these normally aspirated engines, the Porsches take quite a bit of RPM, and that means that you can brake pretty late and downshift right away. And so naturally you want that heel toe to match the revs. Depending on the pedal box itself, I might just roll the outside edge of my foot versus a big heel stab. And what I'm trying to do is maintain consistent brake pressure. And as I'm modulating brake and working the throttle, I get a little bit more control with the balls of my feet versus doing a traditional full heel slide over. But I think that also comes down to your pedal setup and the relationship of distances of brake and throttle. When you're racing, it's huge amounts of brake pressure, and therefore you need a little bit more variable distance between brake and throttle, where if it's street driving, you might only be using 25% pedal pressure, so you don't want to have to reach too far for the throttle. So it's setting those things up. But back to the way that I started this process of owning air-cooled cars, I start with steering wheel and distance to the seat. You know, what does it feel like height-wise? I sit lower in my air-cooled cars than a lot of people, because I believe that in racing you start to train your eyes to look much further ahead, so it doesn't matter that I can't see the tops of the fenders, or
because it's not relevant anyway.
No, exactly. So just personal things, shifter throw, how tall the shifters are, all that matters to me more than what graphics or wheels it has.
This era of Porsche, the 993, it's, as we discussed just before we turn on the camera, it's old enough to be old and new enough to be new, and it's really like a usable piece of kit that you can just, you know. I used to have winter tires on mine and ski racks, and you know, it's a wonderful car. Lots of people fail to realize how well they are to drive in the snow with the right tires, and fun. You can have all these slides, but super controllable, and the steering is very precise with good tires. Do you have snow here?
No, we don't. We don't have snow. I think it's only snowed here one time in my 44 years.
All right.
But I do drive to the snow, and I've lived in environments with snow. Lived in 6 different countries, so I have respect for cars that have multiple uses. But yeah, I think driving off-road or on snow and ice with 911s, I've raced at Zell in Austria, and also here in stateside in Aspen, and 911s are just a pure joy to drive. I think that rear engine gets maybe a bad rap, but I can tell you, when it's sideways and in yaw, there's not an easier car to control and swing weight left to right. So yeah, it's fun.
Years ago, I think it was a British auto journalist wrote this thing that imagine yourself throwing a hammer, and that just got stuck with the 911. And I want to seek out the guy and burn his house. Because this thing, it's such an idiotic thing to say, because it gives these cars that and like a rumor of that they are unpredictable and suddenly they're just gonna slip, which is so wrong. I mean, you got, if you know a little bit about driving, you get like 100 red flags and warning signs and rumbles and squeaks before that happens.
Yeah, no, and in racing, what I learned is that a tire can only handle so much weight, both lateral and vertical weight. And when you brake late into a corner, of course you want to turn, but you also want to trail brake. And with a 911, without having that extra mass up front, I could be so much more aggressive in my trail braking, and I could brake later than the front engine cars. The argument is that mid-engine cars might be the best of both worlds, and I don't disagree with that. All I'll tell you is my driving experience driving mid-engine 911s, driving other manufacturers' mid-engine cars, is that they are very good to a certain point, but once they lose their grip, it becomes something that's
very
really tough to
difficult
grab.
to pick up.
Yeah. Very tough to catch.
I think, and fortunately, I found backup with so many Porsche guys in racing that these are much better than the rumor says.
Yeah. No, I think 911s are often debated for their physics because people haven't driven them or don't know what they are. But I always say it has grip in the rear when you need it, but it also doesn't have too much weight in the front when you don't need that excess weight. So I'm partial to them. I definitely learned how to drive them. I learned that they have a lot of mass on the rear axle, so you do have to get used to more weight moving around in the rear. But once you train your sort of subconscious, they're a pretty great tool.
Yeah. And I mean, the vast majority of people never get there anyway.
Right.
I mean, to feel that little difference, they never get to that point.
No.
So it's all theoretics.
Yeah.
But this sounds and feels and smells like a brand new car, and someone's going to be happy with that long after you're dead of old age.
Yeah.
And I mean, so do you feel yourself like you're a custodian?
For
or
sure.
Do you get that feeling?
For sure. I mean, I think they say over 90% of Porsches are still on the road that were built, and that comes back to that reliability and engineering, you know, mixed with the design and the aesthetics and ergonomics and everything else. But yeah, these cars, if they're maintained and they're driven,
run forever.
They'll be around long after I will.
And this might be the 993, might be that sweet spot where electronics won't hold you back. I mean, modern cars are gonna die when the computer dies.
Yeah.
But these are, you know, you can jump start them and roll them and you drive them.
Yeah, still very simple. I mean, other than ABS, not a lot of, there's no traction control, there's no stability control. I mean, you've got a pretty simple wiring loom, electric windows, some of the like novel luxuries, but just the right amount of blend. I think mid-90s cars are amazing, and of course their popularity is growing day by day, so.
All right, we're gonna, like Thelma and Louise, head out in the sunset and just let the music of this wonderful engine lure us to sleep. And I'm gonna say thank you, Patrick, for letting us in and letting us see your car and telling us a little about Luftgekühlt. I'm gonna, you know, because you constantly say Luftgekühlt, and those two dots are German, and they turn it into a gekühlt.
Umlaut. Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Bye-bye, viewers. See you later.
Ciao.
Hey, car friends. Thank you for watching JP Group Club. This is our new YouTube channel. It's obviously sponsored by JP Group, and we're aiming to tickle you in all the right places with information and entertainment pertaining air-cooled cars from primarily Porsche and Volkswagen. Stay tuned, and we're gonna take you through production. We're gonna test products at the workshop. We're gonna take you to interesting places, drive fascinating cars, and meet relevant people. Help me get this show on the road. Press the subscribe button and like and whatever you can. Share it with your friends, and we're gonna make it fly. Thanks a lot for watching.